Have you been eating less, cutting calories, maybe you're skipping meals, and still not feel like you're losing any weight? I want to remind you, your body is not broken, nor is your metabolism. Your biology is actually protecting you and not punishing you. I want to remind you of this always. Your body is always working for you. So let's unpack this. Most of us were taught that less foods equals more weight loss, right? One of my clients was doing all the right things. In fact, many of my clients are doing all the right things. So this one in particular, eating less than ever. She was working out, skipping the snacks, and what not only was she stuck, she was feeling awful. She was feeling tired. She was feeling irritable and bloated, and the scale just wouldn't move. And then she started to think something was wrong with her, that her body was broken. So if you've ever felt that way, like your body is punishing you no matter how hard you try, I want you to hear this. You are definitely not alone. It's not just you. This guilt and the confusion that comes with it, it feels and it is actually very real. But the truth is, your body is not broken. It's responding perfectly to what it perceives as stress or starvation. So let me explain. Our metabolism adapts. If we are chronically under eating, our body is adapting to the less fuel source that it has. So it slows down metabolism, if you will. It requires less to do its job. So it slows things down intentionally. And then when we have stress, as you know, stress triggers our stress hormone, which is cortisol. And when we eat too little, this adds more stress and more cortisol. And that prompts our body to hang on, to protect itself, and to store more fat. It creates inflammation as well, but the key thing here is it prompts our body mainly to store fat. This also contributes to our body losing its own muscle mass. So we lose muscle. When we have less food, that equates to less muscle, which you may know slows our metabolism. It lowers our basal metabolic rate, the amount of energy that's required to keep us functioning and alive. So the less muscle we have requires less energy. So that slows down our metabolism. And then we have this beautiful shift of hormones that happens, particularly in midlife and particularly as women. We have estrogen shifts in ratio or comparison to progesterone. And also we have insulin and leptin, and of course our thyroid hormones. These are all affected by chronic dieting. And perhaps this is a video that I can dive a little deeper in the future about these particular hormones and the effects that they have. So without overcomplicating it, when we have less food, our body thinks that it's in survival mode and it's doing everything in its power to protect us. So it slows things down so that we don't need to exert as much energy or use as much energy to keep us alive and thriving. So when we chronically undereat, it comes along with a whole host of side effects. One is fatigue. We don't have the same amount of energy. Our brain can't function as quite as optimally. So we have this sense of brain fog or fogginess, poor memory, even our moods, our cravings are impaired. And then also we get into this potential binge cycle. So when we've been deprived for a long period of time, as a human, we're looking for reward to do hard things. So that can prompt us to then go into this overeating cycle or this binge eating that we talk about. Of course, our sleep can be affected because the amount of calories, the amount of fuel that we have. I already mentioned mood swings, but also hair loss is something else that comes along with chronic undereating. So the other thing that happens on an emotional level and physiological level is that we lose trust. We lose trust in ourselves, in our body, and it also loses trust in you. So there's this relationship kind of an issue, and also fear and starvation mode that we get into. So what can we do instead of focusing on eating less? We're not even talking about exercising more. The main thing that we can do is fuel our body in a way that is nourishing, that it's supportive, and that means having enough protein, good complex carbohydrates that contain fiber, and healthy fats at every meal. Ideally, what I recommend to my clients is to have 3 solid balanced meals per day with enough time in between meals for insulin levels to come back to baseline so your body can burn fat. But one of the key things of giving your body meals at regular intervals on a consistent basis, these 3 meals, is that it feels safe. It knows kind of the lay of the land. It knows the rhythm. It knows it doesn't have to go in starvation mode, that it's always going to have enough fuel to carry you through and execute the task that you ask it to do. So the idea is to keep your meals kind of consistent, no skipping meals, and also most beneficially if you want to support fat loss is to not snack either. And of course, as a midlife female, maintaining muscle mass is actually really super important. Not only the maintenance of muscle, but actually gaining muscle would be even more helpful because we lose muscle mass on a yearly basis after the age of 30. So how do we maintain muscle? First, doing strength training, lifting things that are heavy that obviously are not going to injure you, but building your own muscle mass or at least maintaining it. And what pairs along with that is protein. We need to have enough protein to fuel the muscles to heal and repair itself. So when we eat just enough protein and don't do the activity to strengthen the muscle, it's not getting utilized. So the key is to pair these two together, strength training and adequate protein intake. This, I think you'll find, is metabolic gold. The next thing that we want to make sure that we're doing is ensuring that we are balancing our hormones in the best way that we can. The one key thing that we do have control over is stabilizing our blood sugar, which then manages our insulin levels. So we have stable blood sugar, stable insulin, we have stable mood, we have stable energy, and we have stable weight. These all go beautifully together. And then I think the other thing that's worth mentioning here is reframing the mindset that you don't need to earn your food. You need fuel to fuel your life, to fuel your body's processes, organs, and functions. This is really, it's like driving a car with no fuel in it. Like, we need fuel. So your body wants safety, your nervous system wants safety, but more importantly, your body needs this safety and nourishment. It doesn't need starvation and punishment. So this really is about us thriving and not you shrinking physically, emotionally. It's really nourishing ourselves in a way that is supportive so that you can thrive and not just survive. So if you're ready to break the cycle and you want to get out of this kind of rhythm or cycle of restriction and support your metabolism, support yourself, your goals, your health, your vitality, your longevity, I'd love to guide you. I think you probably know where to find me. I'll drop it here below, but this is the work that I do, particularly with midlife women. It's not just so much about the food, that's a big aspect of it, but it's about supporting all aspects of ourselves so that we can feel radiant and vital and confident, full of energy. And that often comes from a combination of nourishing our mind, body, hearts, and souls. So I hope to see you around. I hope you got some value in this, and I hope that I've prompted you to not restrict yourself in your eating, but actually to nourish yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.